No, are we live there?
We're live.
Are we here there?
All right.
All right, that took forever.
We're officially live, I guess.
Finally live, yeah.
Right on time.
Welcome to Slide Life Interviews. My name is Julian Ramirez, in case you don't know me, and this is Fielding Shredder. He is on the Slide Life team, and he's a huge friend of mine, or actually a small friend of mine. Yeah. But I've known for a really long time, and we're excited because this is, you know, such a cool thing we're about to start off. Hopefully we have a lot of live question and answers. We have Connor over here. I can't really see him right now, but he's going to be going through, he's going to be going through all the questions, trying to write them all down. That way we don't have to be searching through everything, and we'll be able to figure it out. This mic is for our Slide Life channel, which you'll be able to go back to and watch the video all edited. You know, we're going to put his links in the descriptions, but right now you can go to Fielding Shredder's Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Actually, not Instagram.
No, we didn't get the
just
Instagram.
YouTube and Facebook, and check it out live. So welcome, Fielding Shredder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
How's your day then?
It's been all right. Yeah, just listed my car for sale, and other than that, just here to do this.
Yeah. What car is that?
It's a SC300. It's kind of a drift project that I was thinking about building and doing like a multi-car deal, and I just got a little bit over my head and ended up not being able to quite put it together in time, so it's time to let her go.
It's been at my shop for like 10 months maybe, and
maybe a year.
It was like, yeah, it's good, we're gonna get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start this off. Who is Fielding Shredder? Explain to me, like, what's your deal? Like,
oh man, all right.
Let's
start off with a
you take the map.
long-winded question. Okay.
Yeah. Not too much about drifting. Just like tell us about you. Like,
sure. Okay. I mean, like any American guy, I like, you know, having a good time, and I don't know, just enjoying the things that aren't drifting. But honestly, like, I've built my whole life around drifting, so if it's not drifting or automotive related, I don't even know what it is. You know, I'm not like super into clothing or super into fashion of any sort. I'm not into other sports. Like, I don't care about ball sports at all. I feel like sports require, you know, real sports require two balls. So like motorsports. Every time we go to a bar, we're just making fun of. Yeah.
Like, we're like,
go sports. And
yeah, bro ball.
Hopefully they scored a basket in the 9th period or something. Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy, you know, hanging out with my friends and watching movies and Netflix and stuff is great. And I love good food, of course.
Oh,
so.
what are you watching on Netflix? What's your...
Shoot. I feel like I'm gonna... okay, so...
Connor and I just finished American Shooter. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I watched like one episode with you like a month ago, but I haven't seen any more of that.
So good.
I've been watching that Wet Hot American Summer. It's like...
Sounds like a porno.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's all right. It's just like one of those time killer things at night, you know, where you're just like dead from coming home from the shop after 12 hours, and you're like, I just want to zone out and like pass out.
When was the last time you spent 12 hours at the shop?
I was there yesterday.
For 12 hours?
Maybe like 8 hours.
Maybe like 6.
It was a long time. It was in the rain all day too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So where'd you grow up? Like where were you born? Or what's your... Like the first 10 years of my life, I grew up in Utah, which was great because we had amazing seasons and beautiful weather, and I got to go snowboarding and skiing a lot and learn all that sort of stuff. And I was really like sheltered by all the Mormons, right? I hadn't ever heard a single cuss word until I moved to Texas. Like, I didn't know anything. So your parents don't cuss?
They didn't when I was, you know, between 1 and 10 years old. No.
I had no clue you grew up in Utah.
Yeah.
Really?
And then we moved to Houston, and it was like complete polar opposite. I go to middle school for the first time, and people are doing drugs and like cursing and fighting, and like I was insane. I had no idea what I was in for, and I had to walk to school too, so that was another thing. Like walking to school. It was maybe like a mile and a half, not that far.
Oh my God! God forbid we have a little white boy walking to school.
No. It was more just like I didn't get the bus experience. You know? So like
ever.
Well, I did for high school, yeah, but not for middle school.
Gotcha.
And then, I don't know, grew up for maybe another 10 years in Houston, then went to Dallas, went to college in Dallas, and then I ended up here in Austin.
Damn. Yeah. Wait, how long were you in Houston?
About 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe 8 or so.
Yeah. So you went to high school in Houston.
Yeah.
High school is like one of my favorite subjects. Like I loved high school. Yeah.
I did too, actually.
I could talk about it for days.
Yeah.
Like, what was that's actually my number 3 question. What's
Really?
like what was your high school like? Who was fielding in high school? Because we all know, like, even it's like 2017. I graduated in 2009. You graduated in like 97.
Yeah.
So we have like a big age gap. But like, I still refer to like who I was in high school. I feel like it was a pretty important time in my life. So tell us about that.
I absolutely loved high school. I had finally like kind of gotten a core group of friends, and we were, you know, rambunctious and wild and like getting into trouble. I was a skateboarder. I didn't do the normal sports
Wait,
route.
you skated?
Yeah, I went skateboarding. I had long hair too.
No, you did not.
Yeah, long hair, skateboarders.
Yeah, I got some Heelys.
Yeah.
I used to ride Heelys in high
Really?
school.
I never have ridden them. I've always wanted to try them. Moga.
Yeah, no, they're pretty fantastic.
Yeah, so that was me in high school. Then I discovered cars, right?
High school?
In high school, yeah. I took auto tech.
What grade?
Let's see, 11th grade, and then 12th. Yeah, so like junior, senior year. I took auto tech.
Did you have your own car?
I didn't. My dad, for my birthday, on my 16th birthday, he bought himself a $12,000 golf cart, and he gave me,
like,
swear to God,
a real golf cart.
A real golf cart that was street legal with like a windshield and horns and lights and everything. And he gave me a Matchbox car, and he said, if you want a car, you gotta buy your own.
Oh my God,
yeah,
that is brutal.
Well, it was good. It like taught me to like work for what I have and, you know, earn it if I want it. And I did. I went and got a job. I bought my own piece of shit car, and like it didn't run at the time. And I was like, I'm an auto tech. I'll figure it out. And I talked to a couple of buddies of mine.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember this story.
I literally bought it. It was not running in the driveway of my friend's Bobby's car, or house. Bobby, if you're watching, you'll remember this story. It was a Pontiac Le Mans. Ugliest, shittiest car ever.
Hold on, can I pause?
Yeah.
Like, all right, guys, whenever I take fielding out drinking and like I want to impress the guys with a good story, this is the one that, oh my God, I can't wait for this.
So,
This is
yeah. So then I talked my other buddy, Dane, into talking his mom into letting me use their garage to like fix this car and get it running. Because my parents were like, no, you're not bringing that crap here. Like,
Wait, one more time, what car was it?
it was a Pontiac Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Like a
I don't even know.
1989.
I feel like that's what you ride in the
Okay.
hood with.
So for
Like,
real, like, if people ever look up or want to know what the ugliest car ever is, right? They usually say the Aztec, right? The Pontiac Aztec.
Yeah.
The guy who designed the Aztec, his first car he ever designed was the Pontiac Le Mans.
So the Aztec was like his
If you compare it-
afterthought.
yes,
Like, oh
dude,
my
no,
God.
that was his improvement on the Le Mans. And I was just getting into cars. I didn't know anything. So I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Let's do it, whatever. We ended up literally destroying and just stripping everything off of this car, thinking we were going to like mod it and work, whatever. Never got it running. Brett just left me high and dry with like a bajillion bolts everywhere, and the bumpers and the hood and every part basically just disassembled. Dane's mom starts freaking out because here it is 3 months later, the car is just now in a million pieces. Finally, I got a friend of mine's dad to come and help me look at it, and he was like, yeah, the only thing wrong with it is a fuel pump fuse. And so literally swapped out the 20 amp fuse, it started right up, and I'm just like, okay.
I feel like that's exactly how our drift cars are.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
let's take apart the whole motor.
Yeah.
Oh, the grounds.
Like one wire. Great. So that is how that happened, and I got it running. I started driving to school. It was terrible, but I ended up, you know, having a running car half-assed. And then I raced my buddy Ray one morning. Actually, no, an afternoon on the way leaving school. I raced him. He had this old like 70-something Chevy truck. We were racing down the road right in front of the high school, and the engine just explodes on my car. Huge ball of fire. I pull over to the side, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So I pop the hood, and as soon as I lift the hood, flames just whoosh, you know, like explode out. And this is right when school lets out. So literally, like, I'm on the side of the road with a ball of fire on my shitty car, and everyone from high school is letting out, just staring at me and laughing as they're driving by. and I'm just on the side of the car, on the side of the road, just like dying from this thing. They went and like got a fire extinguisher, but yeah, that was it.
See, I think you're missing one of the parts of the story. Hopefully, I got the right person, because usually we're drunk when we talk about these stories.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't there something about getting spray paint in your dad's grass?
Right.
Yeah. You're missing the best part of this story.
All right. I'll talk about okay.
That's part of this car. Like
yeah. So part of this story is that I've got these like plastic interior bits for this car, and I'm gonna rice them out, right? So I get them and I lay them out. My dad we lived on a golf course, and in his backyard there's no like fence or anything. You're not allowed to fence. But he wanted to have his own little putting green, so he built like this really kind of nice putting green.
Yeah.
And you had to have like a super expensive mower. You had to have like a $5,000 mower with a
Y'all
roller.
I feel like you grew up exactly how I pictured '90s little boys.
Yeah.
In like in the movies.
Possibly so, yeah. So he had to maintain a putting green is extremely difficult. You have to cut it every single day. You have to have different seeds for different seasons. You have to water it a certain way. You have to roll it. You have to sand it. It's a pain in the butt. And he had this beautiful putting green, and I'm trying to spray paint my car parts this silver color because I thought it'd be cool. And I'm looking around like, where can I spray paint these? I'm like, I don't want to do the driveway, but if I put it in the grass, like, there could be bugs that jump on it and stuff. And I'm like, oh, the putting green, I'll do it out there, right? so I go and I lay the parts out on the putting green, and I spray paint them all silver, and then so then
it's so bad because I know what's happening.
Okay, so then this is 100% true story, y'all. I take all the parts back. My dad comes home and sees that and blows a gasket, and so.
So wait, you got silver. Just to be clear, you got silver.
Overspray.
Paint
So,
onto this putting green that he obviously cares so much about. And you know he cares about this.
Of course. Like,
okay, just explaining how much of an idiot you were.
Right. Like, I should have known better, but I was thinking about my car and ricing it out. I didn't think about anything else. Tunnel vision,
For sure.
So, he calls me on the phone. He's like, what the hell? Why is there spray paint all over my putting green? I'm just like, and he knows it's me, right? And he's like, you're grounded. And this is like the first week of summer, right? And I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, you're straight up grounded for all of summer. He was like super heated, right? And I'm just like, well, then I'm not coming home. I'm never coming home. My friends are in the car, like, I got the phone on speaker. And,
Tyler, have you heard this? It disconnected whenever that went. We were on Facebook. We didn't realize that.
No, don't talk about it.
Okay. All right, we're back. We're not going to talk about it.
Are we good?
All right. So we're back. We're good.
It says not available.
Reconnect. Going live. We're going live.
Is your phone connected to the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You're live.
All right, we're live. We're back. All right, so we just finished up the story about your first car, how it got demolished, how you got your head shaven, and you spray painted green when you were in high
silver,
school.
But yeah.
Oh, silver. Sorry, spray painted silver because that's what color putting green.
I think that's what I used on my car parts on the putting green. So it was like eye for an eye type of deal,
Gotcha. Yeah,
and I think Hunter Heimberger, if you're watching this, you have video footage of that, and I know it'll be like on an old school format, but if you have that, you should totally post that up so we can see that or send it to me or something.
All right. So, tell us about when did you get into drifting? How did your story with drifting start?
Okay, so after that first car blew up and went a ball of flames, I bought a Honda, a Del Sol. I thought it was cool. It got stolen twice. Funny story on that, but basically they recovered the car in Virginia with the guy who stole it, like half naked in it, living out of it.
Wait, the Del Sol?
The Del Sol, yeah.
Oh my god.
And then the insurance company calls me and they're like, yeah, we found your car, like, we're gonna bring it back. And I was like, I don't want that thing back. And they're like, yeah, well, it's policy, we have to bring it back. And they shipped it back to me. And when I get it, it's got like bottles of lotion and like porn all up in it. And,
no.
And like a month's worth of clothes Yeah, like all balled up, all inside of it, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's so bad. Like straight up hobo living.
Yeah,
there.
straight up. And I was like, why would you bring this back? Like, this is obviously disgusting and totaled. I don't want this car. And so they ended up, I like didn't even have to touch it. I just like looked at it and I was like, yeah, this is bad. And they sent the adjuster out and then they totaled it out. And then, you know, that's when Fast and Furious came out. So like things were starting to get really, really cool in the car scene. And a friend of mine, Daniel, he showed me, I'll never forget, this video on YouTube of Kaguchi drifting his black 180SX. And I was just like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I want to do this. So
yeah.
He bought a 240, and then like literally 2 months later, I bought a 240. And it was an S13 hatch. It was pretty basic. I got it on eBay. Like, it was in Houston. It was a KA. It didn't have anything done to it, basically.
And how old were you at that point?
I think I was 17 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And I immediately just started trying to, you know, fart around in the streets, and I was terrible, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had an open differential. I had a KA. I had like...
So you were trying to drift with the open diff?
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't even know what a diff was at that point.
I don't think even I was that bad.
Yeah. So then we learned. This is like back in like the only drifting we'd ever seen was a couple of YouTube videos. You know,
yeah.
Like there was no.
So it was definitely after Janet Jackson's nipple, because that's when YouTube started. You know that, right?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. So the guy that founded YouTube, he originally was just trying to find the video of Janet Jackson's titty popping out. So he was like, damn, I need to make a website where everybody could put their videos on.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Janet Jackson's titty pop back out.
That's not even that long ago, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's why, like, I read this story, like, totally true.
Well,
you can fact check this. Like,
I'm going to say this was probably in 2001.
It might be.
So it was probably before YouTube. Maybe.
No.
No,
okay,
I'm saying when I saw this Kaguchi video, it was probably like he downloaded it on LimeWire or something like that. Like it was old school.
Yeah.
And so I bought a 240. I immediately started buying stuff. I remember I bought RSR springs with Tokiko shocks, and I bought like a bride seat, and what else did I have? Like very minimal stuff done to it. Eventually I bought like a 300ZX LSD, and I did some really ghetto like way to get the axles to work, and it didn't work, and then I ended up going back to like anyway. I finally got it to work and I had like 2 or 3 friends, and in one summer, it basically rained like almost every day in Houston.
Yeah.
So we were out just
like
being
this past summer.
idiots. Yeah, but back like, you know, a while ago. It wasn't like typhoon, monsoon, or anything like that. But anyway.
Gotcha.
So we were all trying to drift them around and like, you know, learn how to drive. And basically by the end of that summer, I was the only one who hadn't completely wrecked my car. So I was like, hey, maybe I'm like halfway decent at this. Maybe I can like get better at this and do all right. So that's like my first introduction to drifting.
So that was like early on. How'd you meet up with like Losi and like everybody?
Okay.
Like, was Losi even your first person into drifting, or like in Texas drifting? How did you get into like the Texas drift scene?
Okay, so I moved to Dallas, as I said, for school.
Okay.
I got a job. I was working at a car dealership, just driving a normal sedan.
Yeah.
And I decided that for my birthday, I was going to buy myself like the 240 of my dreams. I was making decent money. I had some money saved up, so I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I found I had 3 criteria. It had to be a Kooky, like an original Kooky S14. It had to be SR. Yeah. And it had to have no moonroof from the factory. Those are my 3 criteria. I found the perfect car. It was really expensive. It was 10 grand. And all it was, I spent $10,000 on a basic like S14 Kooky with a nice SR, and that's it. It had no other mods.
Is that?
And that's my car.
You spent $10,000 on. That's what you could sell it for right now.
I know, right? Several $100,000. No, that's my car. Yeah, I actually got it. Tony at T1 had built the motor, and the guy who I bought it from, it was basically in hock at T1. Yeah. And his wife was like, if you put another $1 in that car, I'm divorcing your ass. And he was just like, oh. So he puts it on Craigslist, and I find it, and I'm like, it's beautiful. And he was like, you give me $1,000, you give Tony $9,000, because that's how much he owed him for the motor swap.
Damn.
He paid $9 grand for the motor swap. Yeah. which was like, I mean, it was a built
that's a
motor.
lot.
It was
Yeah.
nice. It was tuned. Had like a 2871R and all this stuff, but yeah. So
I mean, the motors were a lot newer back then too.
Yeah.
And he had to import it back then.
Of course.
I'm sure it wasn't like a new thing. Like, I mean, it wasn't done so much. Like,
right,
yeah.
no, it was definitely newer. And yeah, that's how I got that car.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you had that car,
Mhm.
and it was basically like a stock SR, like a little built, but like
Yeah, the motor was good. The motor made about 350 wheel, but there was nothing else. Like
Yeah.
open diff, stock suspension, stock everything else, stock interior, nothing else.
So you had that, and I'm pretty familiar with your car, but let's just say Bobby from Kansas isn't that familiar.
Yeah.
Give
Hey,
him
Bobby.
give him a rundown. Give him a rundown of what your car's like. What from basically like everything, like from engine bay to suspension. Like give
Okay.
away all your dirty secrets.
Oh, we'll talk about the car for this one. How about that? So it's a gone from like a completely stock with an SR. Now it's a 2JZ power plant. It's got an R154 transmission. It's a twin plate carbon clutch. It's got a 3582 turbo on it. I'm running E85. It's tuned on an ECU master. It makes about 450 to 480 wheel depending on the boost. I can crank the boost up a little more. I just started to run out of my fuel pump, so I needed to add another fuel pump, and I haven't gotten back to.
Which you've had like 30 fuel pumps this year, right?
like 5, but yeah.
Like that's a lot.
Yeah, it's been too many, too damn many. Some of them were my fault why they got destroyed. Some of them were just went bad. But anyway, now it's fiberglass wide body, so it's D-Max front fenders and 2F rear fenders, and then a full 2F kit. And the suspension is like the coilovers are BC Racing, and all of the suspension arms and everything else, and like the knuckles and the steering is all GK Tech.
Okay.
So it's gone from real basic to pretty highly modified. It's caged. It's got seats and harnesses and stuff like that.
That was way more extensive than I was expecting.
Oh.
Like if somebody were to ask me that question,
Did you just press the button on that?
I might have on
I
accident.
think he pressed the button.
Sorry. If anything,
All
I
right,
just
we're
did
back.
No, we're not.
It's
Hold it
green.
Oh, okay, now
green.
it's.
Yeah. So if somebody asked me what's your car like, I'm be like, 2871R turbo, SR, built, cage, tube front, tube rear. Guess.
Well, I mean, I figure if they want to know,
That's all I know.
Oh, I see.
Like, I know the breakdown, but it's just like I don't really know. Like
Yeah.
I have to think about it. Like
Right.
I think I have a Bosch pump.
Bosch?
But, oh, I thought it was Bosch.
I think it's Bosch.
Bosch.
Yeah.
Oh.
You do. You have the same pumps as me. Only yours works.
Yeah,
That's good.
mine works and it's new.
Yeah.
Oh no, our mics are
Are we
dying.
out of batteries?
Is it out of batteries?
I don't know. Can it
Tell me.
die? How do you check the batteries? Is it now just a prop?
Yeah.
All right, so we're using this mic as a prop. All
Let's,
right, do we have any questions?
Yeah, let's,
like.
I see Brandon
Alright, so
right
we've
here is
got some
asking if we
questions.
can
We've got some
run
questions
flat
here.
tires.
All right, so Brandon DeRuza, can you use run flat tires and would they last longer? I don't know how run flats work actually. Am I
Used
stupid?
them. I've used them before. You can use run flat tires. They weigh like twice as much as normal tires, so it's not ideal. They don't last any longer. Once they get down to the cords, it's just the same. The difference is that the sidewall is extremely stiff, and that's why they're run flat, because when there's no pressure, they still have enough structure in the tire and the sidewall in order to not just completely go down to the rim and fall off. I've used them before. Don't recommend them. There's no benefit, and they cost way more, so there's no reason to.
Yeah. Brandon, we know we can still hear you. It's just this is for our YouTube. So we have a lot of different things going on. Well, his YouTube, and then you're on Facebook, but this is for our YouTube, Slide Life. All right, so
I've got some questions. So Fred asks, how many chicken nuggets can you eat?
Oh man,
that's a good one.
All right, Fred. So when you buy,
Wait. How many can he put in his mouth? Because I've seen him Wait, that sounds bad.
That sounds really bad. And what part? Okay, so Fred, I think this is Fred.
All at once, or
Fred Lump. What's up, Fred? He went with us at Low Style Heroes earlier this year, which was awesome. And he literally bought, what was it, 500? No, 400 chicken nuggets. Yeah.
Wait.
He got 20 orders of 20.
For himself?
No, for everyone.
Okay.
And in the back seat, I was so hungry, and I hadn't like hardly eaten all day. And I just ripped one of those 20s open and just started going for it. Like ripped the sauces open, and I was sick to my stomach by the end of the drive home. We were like 10 minutes from the track.
After 20?
I probably ate like 18 or so. Yeah, it was a lot for me. I couldn't eat more than that.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was way too many. I think there might have been like a McDouble thrown in there as well, but man, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was with Connor one time, and he tried to get us to eat a McGangbang.
We went and got like 12 pizzas too from Domino's, and like another 9 Cinesticks. We had so much food. We fed the whole track like when we got back.
Wait, when was this? Was I in on that? Oh man, no, man.
It was out in Virginia.
Damn, I should pay attention.
Fred's never been to Texas yet.
Yeah, Fred, come to Texas.
Slideways Car Club asks you when the shredder fenders are going to be coming back.
All right, Slideways Car Club, shredder
Is that
fenders.
Dixon?
Yeah.
Dang it. All right, are we talking about shredder fenders now?
Yeah.
We can, dude. It is all open. We'll talk.
That is the main question of the evening. So
Is it really?
So why haven't you been writing these down? All right, so Connor is.
Because he's doing it.
That's all right. We want to talk
gotta
about
figure
shredder fenders. Fine, we'll talk about shredder fenders. So.
I got them.
Early on in my drifting endeavors, I thought it would be a good idea because I was a little bit too cheap and thought I knew what I was doing to build my own fenders, right? I didn't want to buy, at the time there weren't any knockoff fenders. You had to buy a Charge Speed, which were $500, or Vertex or something like that. You had to spend a lot of money, and I was really into DTM cars. So the European.
Wait, DTM.
It's European type of racing where they have like Porsches and Audis and BMWs.
So what's DTM mean?
It's like the Deutsch Touring manufacturers, or something like that.
Well, look, if I don't know that, how do you think Amanda Jones is supposed to know that?
She doesn't know.
Okay, so she's listening. She's watching.
Sorry, Amanda. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I love that style. Always love that style. And their style is really wide with like these kind of squarish fenders that come off with a lot of vents and louvers and stuff that allow air to escape. They were obviously built with real engineers, with wind tunnel testing for road racing. Their cars are beautiful. I was like, I'm gonna do that. And so I got a trailer fender and I cut it in half and I took it to a hot rod shop and I had them stamp metal louvers in it and I lined it all up and I spent a lot of time and not a lot of money trying to build this wide body for my car. It turned out to be terrible. I never thought it was that cool, honestly. Everyone's like, oh, you love that. I'm like, no.
Oh my God. Wait, like you really...
When I was building it, I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing. And literally, as soon as the paint dried, me and my painter stepped back and looked at it and we were just like, I don't know, dude. This isn't exactly what we were going for. And I had to take it to an event. There was an event like 2 days later. I took it to one event.
Wait. It was only ever at one event?
One event.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I thought you ran like 2 seasons.
No, one event. And I was like, this is terrible. I got enough heat to like kill an army from it. Unfortunately for me, the Keep Drifting Fun tour was going on and they were in Texas at this event.
Oh,
so they have like footage that will live on forever of the shredder fenders. It was at the Travis Expo Center here actually in Austin.
Damn.
We used to run out there for Mean Streets. And it was really bad. To make matters worse, like I ran wheels that I forgot my spacers at home, so they were all sunken in. It was a complete disaster. It looked awful. I thought it looked awful. The whole world thought it looked awful.
Yeah.
It did look awful. They immediately got cut off, and I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought Charge Speed, and it's been fiberglass, decent wide body ever since. But unfortunately, I have to live with that. Thanks for your question.
And make sure that doesn't die. Like I thought it was like a 2-year reign of shredder fenders.
No.
Like I thought people like encouraged it, so it kept going for a while.
No.
And something you thought was cool, kind of like your hair sometimes. But like that was one time.
One event, yeah.
Damn. Like I've never been messed with as much as that. Like,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we got a question from one of my favorite up-and-coming drivers. She started, I think, this year. She's pretty brand new. She started at Corpus and comes out to a lot of San Antonio drifts, and I've recently seen her at a lot of Lone Star Drift events. Her name is April Manuel, so shout out to her. She drives a 350Z, and she wants to know any tips for the new people wanting to compete in Texas Street Legal or Pro-Am. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you have a street legal car, so let's try and keep you in street legal. And what would you say for street legal guys?
Okay, so number one thing is drive as much as you can, and the best advice I can give you is to ask people that are better than you, more experienced than you, to ride with you. Have someone sit in your car. They can almost immediately tell you what you're doing wrong, or help you with little things, and then also try and copy a successful car's setup, right? So if you're driving a 350Z and you see someone else who's got a successful 350Z, just go ask them, what tire pressures are you running? What tire size are you running? What kind of coilovers are you running? And what other kind of little mods are you running? What are you doing for angle or your differential? Things like that. And just try and get a basic setup and then drive as much as you can afford. I mean, trying not to do like ghetto stuff. Don't get crappy junkyard tires because they're not going to be consistent. Even spending money on one pair of brand new tires is more beneficial for you than having 3 or 4 pair of old.
1000%.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest faults I think with new people is they don't get consistent drifting.
Right.
Because they want to use all these cheap and free tires. Like I did that for 2 years.
I did it too.
But it does not work. Like I wish I didn't because my learning curve wouldn't have been so slow.
Yep.
Like I'm sure there were other factors. I was terrible at drifting when I first started.
Same.
But like I feel like if I had consistent tires, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly. And then just trying to take from more experience than you is going to be the easiest way for you to kind of get a leg up. Because all these other people have made mistakes, right? I've made thousands of dollars and thousands of hours worth of mistakes with my drifting program and trying to figure out how to make things work. And now I've got a decent little, knowledge base that I can easily share and just tell you. I don't hide anything. If you ask me any question, I'll tell you whatever it is. Because honestly, if there are more better drivers in the field, that's going to be better for everyone.
Wait a minute. Like he wants to know. So he's saying he gives you the complete truth. So maybe sometimes the truth isn't always the best for live, Kevin Susi. So why don't you just ask like at an event or to his face, like when you come get drunk and get all those L's whenever you come to Austin.
The king of the L's.
The king of L's.
Yeah.
Anyways, so on to a new question. This is one, that I'm always interested in hearing from other drivers. Like, what are you doing? Like, where do you want to go with drifting?
So, I want to continue having fun. That's my biggest thing. I've found, very quickly that if you're not rich, you're not going to be at the top level of any type of motorsport. So you have to kind of accept that. Once you've accepted that, then you can kind of start to, mold your lifestyle around whatever you're looking for. What I would like to do is just to drive as much stuff as I can and enjoy it. I've somewhat made a career of this, but I'm by no means getting paid a whole bunch of money to show up to an event and drive my car. Like it costs me tons of money out of my own pocket every event that I go to. Even if I have some sponsored parts or sponsored tires or whatever, I still have to spend a lot of money in fuel and entry fees and other associated costs. And then when I crash, it's not like people are just lining up to fix my car. I mean, I have to buy those parts that I broke, and I have to do the body work. And even if I have a paint sponsor, they're not going to paint a piece of junk, right? They want me to bring them something that's that's halfway decent for them to just kind of smooth out and paint. So okay, so I kind of got off track there. What I want to do is continue to drive. I think I've done a lot of driving here in Texas, and so I think going on, I'd like to start to kind of branch out a little bit. I've never really had the means in order to travel to these long distance events, but now that we have a 2-car trailer, thanks to Julian for nutting up and buying that big old trailer, I'll be able to hopefully squeeze my little car in there and pitch in for some gas, and then we'll get to drive other events. So I
So
want
if
to
you
come and
wait. So if you guys know any events you want to see us out at Texas, let us know.
Yep.
Send us some money.
yeah.
Or at least figure out how to get us like free entry maybe. But anyways, we'll try and get out there.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's what I want to do. I want to start to travel more. I want to drive more road courses because that's what's really fun. Parking lots, you can only have so much fun, and my car doesn't work nearly as well on parking lots. So traveling more and meeting you guys, meeting more people that I've only ever met online is also a big goal. Every time I've traveled outside of the state, I meet people that I've only been friends with online, and it's great.
Speaking about people online, we got a question from Brandon Aaron Deruza. How do you like drifting in Japan?
It's amazing. It's the best driving in the world. There's no other substitute for it, at least for me in my experience. I've driven lots of cars, I've driven lots of places, but nothing compares to the freedom you have in Japan. And I think that's because of the Ebisu circuit, kind of lifestyle and the way that Power Vehicles has it set up.
I'm so excited.
Dude, so they've got on-site tires, on-site machines, on-site mechanics, on-site fuel, and you literally just show up and pay for your car. You don't have to do registration or inspection. You don't have to worry about the car, whether it works or not. They check it out for you. And then you just get to go and rip and try not to die. And I mean, in a week's time, I did 500 laps in my car.
That's
which
crazy.
Was insane. I haven't done 500 laps in America in probably the last 2 or 3 years.
I feel like I'm definitely gonna need a roll cage.
Yeah.
At least a Bolton.
I should have had one.
I have a much more crumply-ish car. My car's nicer than yours.
Yeah, it's nicer.
But it has the potential to die.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar, I drive an R chassis. My good friend Dion and I went in halvesies and bought an R33 GTST. So it's pretty bulletproof. It's got a little bit more beefy structure on the chassis. And
Which RB comes with that?
So it's got an RB25 DET. And it's got a couple just real basic bolt-ons, like a front mount intercooler and I think that's it. Maybe a boost controller, but that's it. And so it's got, out of the box, it's good to go. If you buy a little bit lesser car, like an S chassis, they're a little bit thinner metal on the chassis. They come with an SR, so not quite as much power unless it's modded. And if you wad them up into a mountain wall or a wall of Minami, it may not quite survive like an R chassis will. Or even better is a JZX. The JZX are bulletproof.
I'm going to try and take my time before I get to Minami.
Yeah, don't do what I did.
Yeah.
And that was on the last day too.
That's ridiculous. Well, I think I'm going to be there a little bit. Well, we're both going to be there for a long time, but longer than your first time. All right, so we have a question from AEast88. How do I become as handsome as Shredder?
Oh man.
Oh damn.
That's genetics, bro. I don't do anything for this. It's just genetics. You gotta be lucky.
Damn. All right, we got another.
Hygiene. How about that? Good hygiene.
Good hygiene. Yeah.
Brush your teeth.
Good hygiene.
Take showers.
Strong swiping hands. Do you swipe with your finger or your thumb? Because I feel like a lot of what matters after the swipe matters with your finger.
That's definitely a thumb action.
Damn, maybe that's why you don't get callbacks. You should swipe with use your fingers more.
Yeah. It's just this finger's only for swiping.
Yeah. All right, so we got another question from Slideways Car Club. Damn, there must be a lot of people in this. All right, did you suffer any injuries from wrecking your car back in Japan?
Only to my ego.
That actually gets broken?
Yeah, it was pretty broken that day. So I actually wrecked twice. One you didn't see. It was, I guess I was driving the course normal, and then Losi filled my head. He's like, your car's too slow. You're never gonna make it unless you go full bore, third gear, all the way up to the hump or the jump. And he's like, you gotta clutch kick hard and give it a big huck right there at the jump, or you're never gonna make it. And that's what I did. And I did that, and I immediately crashed.
And so good.
So I pulled off.
Wait, was he Australian?
No, Losi, Aaron Losi.
Oh my god.
He's like, I was like, show me how to do this. Show me the ropes or whatever. And he basically just took me for a couple laps in his car, really slow, no helmets or anything. And he was like, yeah, you want to, watch out for here. And then right at this hump right here is when you do your big clutch kick and enter real hard. And I was like, let me follow you. And he's like, nah, just go do it. So
that's so funny.
Yeah. And then they of course go and set up their cameras like right looking down where when I do
he
the
knew.
jump.
He knew.
Yeah,
he
of
for
course he
sure
knew.
knew.
I should charge him for that crash.
Yeah, that was definitely Aaron's fault.
Yeah. So I crashed. I was super pissed off. And Dion, who I split the car with, had just taken off to go to the airport. And like literally 30 minutes before that, I'm like, all right, man. He's like, hey, take care of the car. You know, we're gonna drive it next year. And I was like, yeah. And then 30 minutes later, he's getting a text from them. He's like, your car's crashed.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then I
That's
go and I did 2 laps that were really good. Like one of them you can see in Adele's video on Offbeat Garage YouTube channel. I mean, I nailed it. Like super good entry right at the jump. I got air. I came up within 6 inches of the wall. I maintained drift the entire thing. It was beautiful. And then the next lap I went for it like the Daigo line, which is a little bit left. There's a green painted part of the jump.
Yeah.
And if you watch them on D1 and stuff, they jump over that and it's like super gangster. So I tried to do that and it didn't work at all. And I crashed again, almost the exact same way, only even worse. And I like...
That's the one where you flew, right?
Yeah, where the
like,
back end went like 5 feet in the air.
Damn, that was pretty cool. We got to see that on the big screen at FD.
Yeah, that was actually, I was proud of that moment.
I was pretty proud of that too.
Honestly, after that crash, I wasn't even bummed about it because the lap previously, I had nailed it. And so because of that, I was like, all right, I'm into this. Like, I'm having a good time. I'm still alive. The car still runs. No big deal. Just some body work.
Yeah. All right, so we got a good question from one of your buddies, homie from the north, Max Fierce Day.
Oh, Max. What's up, Max?
What's up, Max? All right, so he wants to know, who's your favorite Lone Star drift driver, either in the past or present? Like, who's your favorite driver that has been in these events?
Definitely Chelsea Denofa.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I take a lot of like styling cues from Chelsea because Chelsea to me...
Honestly, I thought he was going to say me.
Oh, no.
No, okay, Chelsea.
Because it says past
I
or
know.
present. Yeah, if it was present, that answer might be different, but...
All right, no, forget that. Past.
Yeah, in the past, it's Chelsea for sure. Chelsea, every single time Chelsea's driving, it looks like he's about to die. And that to me is like what is the most exciting part of drifting. And so I try and, do the same. I'm not quite as talented as Chelsea is, so I oftentimes crash more than I pull it off. but
when you do, dude, like the round 5 or round 4, right?
Round 4, yeah.
TMS, Texas Motor Speedway this year was epic.
That was fun.
Like,
I had to do something. Kegel was on the radio with me and he was like, yeah, you're basically at a disadvantage right now from that last lap, so you better do something crazy. And I'm just like in my head like, all right, here we go. And then that's what happens.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I also, the other time that I thought you were going to die was at TMS a couple years ago when you almost took out the light pole.
Dude, yeah.
Dude.
I've crashed a lot at TMS.
If somebody can find a video, maybe we'll be able to find the video for our Slide Life video.
Yeah.
But that was pretty wild.
Yeah,
Like,
I went off track for like 300 feet probably, and like
yeah,
I came within, I don't know, a couple feet of hitting one of those generators that holds a light pole. So it would have been like game over for me and the car.
Oh, so bad. All right, so we have a question from another Texas homie. He drives in Pro-Am, Zach Mitchmore. I think that's how you say it? Mitchmore?
Yeah.
All right, so big question of the year, or of the off season. Texas Street Legal or Pro-Am? What's your plans next year?
That's a good question. I don't have a concrete deal yet because I haven't gone to SEMA and I haven't worked out any kind of like contracts or anything, and basically I don't know if I'm gonna have any money next year to drive, so I either have to get a job or get some sponsorship or figure something out. I would love to drive street legal. I think that if I were to get my hands on like a basic HR 350Z and just run 265 Kendas and have real simple setup, it would be amazing, and I would have more fun because I would get to drive more.
So what would your car be doing?
My car would be traveling. I would save it because I destroy it at Lone Star events, and I would.
Does that mean I have to sponsor 2 cars, or will you find a car?
Maybe we can split.
Will you
a car.
find a place for this other car?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah. I don't think we've thought this through yet.
Yeah. I only have my one car currently, and then that SC for sale. So those are my only toys right now. But I think if I could drive street legal, I would love to drive street legal, to answer your question. If not, and if I am forced driving one, then I have my car for Pro-Am, and I can't drive it in street legal, so I would have to do that.
So basically, if you try hard, you'll be able to drive Pro-Am, but you don't really want to, because you don't want to try hard.
It's not that I don't want to try hard, it's that like, it takes a lot of work to maintain my car, and you've seen how much crap I have to do. It's so much work, so much money, and it's gotten to the point where I've done it for so many years that it's kind of like taking away the fascination with drifting for me. So I think simplifying my life, simplifying my drifting endeavors would be a wise decision, and it would also help me enjoy it more. So that's what I want to do.
That's good. All right, I think we're gonna try and cut this in like 10 minutes. So you guys start finding away some questions. I got some questions I want to end up with. We have a question from Shane Vasquez. He's down in San Antonio. Would you ever consider painting your car gray with blue wheels? Is that a sponsorship deal that he's proposing?
It probably says gray with black wheels.
Oh, black wheels.
The answer is hell no. Absolutely not. Great cars are the worst, and black wheels are even worse than the worst. So don't ever do that. Bunch of hovercrafts, get that crap out of here.
All right. So we've talked a lot about like what you're doing in drifting, what you've done in drifting, and where you want to go in drifting. But what's really valuable is where do you want drifting to go in general? Like,
ooh, that's a deep question, Julian.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I wasn't prepared for this one. I think there are some things about drifting that are trending in a direction that I feel like is negative for the sport. Like some people, and then there's also the kind of the flip side of the coin, right? Is do we want drifting to become more popular like some other forms of motorsport? So for example, look at Super, it's just so cute. So for example, like if you want to have a spec series of car, right? If you got a spec, it's hard to do spec series, right? If you had a spec tire, that's one way to do it, but you're still going to have performance gaps and money gaps for more prepared cars. So the only way to do a spec series is to do it like NASCAR, where they literally have one chassis built by the same company essentially, and it's all driven by, or it's all the same up to tire pressures, alignment, and driver ability. So if you did that, like if you had a field of 20 Mustangs and you just paid $5,000 to show up and arrive and drive and everything was prepared for you, that would be amazing. That would probably be some of the best tandem you've ever seen, because it would be like Von Gittin and Chelsea at one of the last rounds, where they just were on mirrored images of each other. It was beautiful, it was exciting. That would be great if you did a spec thing. The other side of the coin is the runaway with the money, right? So how it is going right now is kind of ruining the sport for people like me, or people like up and comers that want to just get into it. They look up and see big name drivers that have $1 million budgets, and they know that that's never attainable. They will never ever achieve that. So that unfortunately will deter and draw away people from the sport, which I don't want. I want more people to like it, enjoy it, and love it like I do. So you have two balances there. It's tough.
So where do you think, so if you're like a Pro-Am person, do you think they should even try for Pro-Am, or for like FD? What do you, if you were to give advice to, so we gave advice to somebody who's getting into street legal and Pro-Am,
right?
But what about advice for somebody who's already in Pro-Am?
I think you need to set your own goals, but more importantly, you need to have your own kind of realization of what it takes to be a pro in the sport today. You can't just be a good driver. That's not how it works anymore. You have to be good on social media. You have to be able to sell parts and products for other companies. You have to be sponsorable. So if you're a jerk online, it doesn't matter how good you are. If no one wants to sponsor you, you're never ever going to get picked up. Unless you have a very rich family, basically, you're never going to make it on that top level of driving. You're not going to get picked up and have enough support to do so. I don't care how good of a driver you are. There's still a big factor with money, traveling to the events. You got to have crew, you got to have a car that's competitive, you got to have spare parts. You're gonna crash. Even the best drivers crash all the time. So it's not as simple as do really well, win Pro-Am, and you're going to go to Formula D. Just because you have your license doesn't mean hardly anything anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like some other drift organizations, they have 3-4 people competing for the top. What was it? They had top 4.
Yeah, where was it? It was Pro-Am Drift.
They had only 4 people in the final, like round 6 of the full series for the Formula D license. Literally 4, and the top 3 won it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's that person who won isn't necessarily like just ready to go to Formula D now just because they have their license. They need to have a full program in place.
Somebody told me that the licensing should all be finished and they have to come, and then like after they get qualified, they have to compete with like the top 8 like Lone Star guys. Like, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like, all right, so you got your license to compete with Lone Star. Like Lone Star Drift to me is like,
it's definitely some top level driving because we have event organizers that push the driving part of it, right?
Yeah.
Some parts of it I don't agree with. Aaron doesn't care what your car looks like. He doesn't care if you have black wheels. He just wants you out there driving as much as you can. But I like that because it does promote and encourage better driving and more, aggressive and competitive driving. We have had lots of drivers come from other states that have a beautiful car that don't know how to drive it or aren't comfortable going anything faster than like 2nd gear. So when they get out to our tracks that are 4th gear tracks, they don't know what to do, and they get worried, or they crash, or they just pack it up and go home. So I don't want that to happen. Just because you have a pretty car doesn't mean you shouldn't drive it, but there needs to be like a natural progression to your driving and your car building ability.
Yeah. So Mario Gomez pointed out it's Gomez, right? Yeah, Gomez.
Yeah.
I was like Mario Lopez. Mario Gomez pointed out, like, so pretty much if you want to get into drifting, I think in street legal and then possibly move up to Pro-Am, like the HR350Z is probably going to be the best platform.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
I think that, and I think a 335i is actually a pretty killer platform.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I have no clue which.
So that's the
BMW. What year is that?
It's like the turbo. It's like a 07, 08 are the good ones. Yeah, because you don't have to have a cage. They're turbo from the factory. You're allowed to tune, right?
Yeah.
So you can run like 400 horsepower, 380 horsepower, and have like a really nice BMW.
Hey, so why don't people have 335i's?
I mean, a couple are. Like Aaron just had one that he sold, and Danny Puckett's got one. And I mean, a couple people are starting to wise up to that. I think that though does require a little more maintenance. The turbos are going to fail.
Yeah.
If you crash a BMW, it costs a lot more than if you crash a 350Z.
But I mean, it doesn't have to look pretty.
No, it doesn't.
Look, whose car wasn't pretty in the street legal?
Most of them.
This is true.
Yeah.
All right, so we got another question from
for the
Max.
second half of the year.
So if you had to choose a dream chassis for drifting, no budget, anything goes. Say your swap. So like if you wanted a Mustang with a 2JZ, what would
anything ever?
Anything to drift, but that's realistic. Like I don't want to hear like a Lambo like with a Ferrari motor. Like
why not?
Like.
I mean, my dream car ever is a Ferrari F40, straight up. And if
do those drift well?
I mean, if it's developed for a drift car, then I'm sure it would. It's rear, it's like mid-engine, and it probably doesn't have a lot of steering angle, but if you had a drift F40, I would just bust nuts. That would be insane. Let's go back to like for drifting, no budget, anything goes. Yeah, it would be an F40. I mean, that's the best car ever.
Does that answer your question, Max?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Last little thing. So Jason Stacy says basically like there's no chance of going pro. Like
not for me because I don't have any money and my parents don't either. But I think going pro, can mean a lot of things to different people. If you look at Tanner Faust, right? He kind of went a different direction. He became a TV show host, and then he was able to fund whatever he wanted off of that because now he's got a lot of eyes on him, right? So I could try and take that approach, or you guys could too, if you have a personality and you have kind of the heart and the passion to go after that channel. You just got to find your way, right? Adam LZ is a great example. He started in BMX. He got popular off of that. He started to fall in love with drifting, and he used his channel that he already had built up in order to fund his drifting, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have anyone paying for his drifting aside from his, previously developed YouTube channel, which is now doing that for him.
All right, so we're gonna have to cut things short, or not cut things short. That lasted a freaking hour. That was fantastic.
54 minutes, not
Yeah.
bad.
So last question that I have, and we're not taking any more requests or whatnot.
You guys can ask questions on the page, and then I'll try and get in there and answer them if I can.
Yeah, any missed questions, he's definitely gonna get back to. If he doesn't, then he's a total jerk. So, because we want to make sure everybody feels involved. Last question is, would you say you're happy with where you're at?
Yeah, but I'm the kind of person that puts a lot of pressure on myself to improve and to like when I mess up, I'm really mad at myself. And so I'm always trying to push to get better. I'm happy. I'm enjoying my life. I love having friends around and my health. I'm appreciative of that. I'm very fortunate and I don't take anything for granted. But I'm also agitated with not being better. So I'm always trying to push to be better. What can I do to improve? What can I do today to help expand this dream that I have? Or what do I want to go do, right? If I want to go drive in Europe, I have to make that happen. No one's just going to call me up out of the blue and be like, hey, come drive in the European Drift Championship.
That would be dope.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. So.
No. All right, guys. Well, we're finishing up. Make sure you check out Fielding Shredder on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you want to see our we're going to put together a cool video, and it's going to be on the SLIDELIFE page, SLIDELIFE YouTube. So make sure you go check that out. We're going to have many more interviews. We're going to try and fit every driver in Pro-Am. So make sure you start, your social media. I want to get all the SLIDELIFE crew, then get to all the, Drift Whips crew, handle all the Careless kids. We want to make sure we reach out all the way to Houston. And then
all the way to Houston.
All the way to Houston. Yeah, that's like one more hour than DFW. And just really get everybody to know everybody else. We have this cool group on Facebook with 25 drivers, and it's really brought us together. Not that one.
Oh, I like that one better.
We're talking about Snake. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The sneaky snakes.
The sneaky snakes. So we really want everybody to get to know everybody. I want people to understand why we troll Fielding. He's not a bad guy. He's a real dude with real emotions. When you call him out, he actually cries at night. So,
that's going to make him troll me more.
That's fine. But, troll him, but you can't troll if you don't know.
Nope, you get trolled for that.
All right, we're all done. Thanks so much.
All right, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.